Hello, hello, hello. God, hello. Having all kinds of issues. I've been having a hard time with this. Let's see if we can make this work today. Uh, I hope that it took me a while to get on, but welcome, welcome, welcome. I am doing this over because the other day I did it, and guess what? It was just an audio. How unfortunate. And this was a very, very important episode. But good afternoon, you all. So I am doing it over because I am that type of person where I'm just not going to give up. And this is the foundation, and you need this really. So welcome, welcome to Sweet Blessings, the Anna L. Brothers Show and Podcast, where we usually come on Wednesdays to inspire, encourage, and empower you to live a happy and blessed and fulfilling lifestyle. I'm Anna, your host. I'm also a retired school teacher. I am an author. I am an educational consultant. I'm a jury consultant. I'm also a health consultant in certain respects. And I'm also a certified cake instructor. And so I bring to you a wealth of knowledge and experience to the conversation. So I want you to know that each episode we kind of dive into topics that kind of can enrich our lives, whether it's from the educational viewpoint of it or whether it's from personal development to health, wellness. And I always want to talk about the art of jury because you know the jury really makes you feel good. And that's what this is all about, what my podcast is all about, is making you feel good. And so I do this by providing workshops and speakers and everything. And so at the beginning of the year, I decided to do series. And a lot of you, many of you might not know, but many of you do know that besides teaching school, I also taught cake decorating. And I had two stores that I did it. And I did that for over 20 years. And so when I did retire, I said I was going to do something with my experience with the bacon. It's just by chance that I happen to get into the bacon, and I'm going to tell you that that's why I call my podcast "Sweet Blessings" because all of the things that have uh, happened to me have been blessings and sweet blessings. They just didn't, things. Some things, and I just feel like that's my gift. That's what God has given me. I don't know, but I'm pursuing it, and so. Like I said, I had two stores and I taught for for over 20 years, along with teaching the little ones. Okay. So I want to thank you again for tuning in to Sweet Blessings, where every conversation is a treasure. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. I am having a little technical difficulty, you all, and I just do explain. I hope you do understand that I'm having difficulty. I cannot do my program on my desktop. For some odd reason, it doesn't come up. And so I'm struggling with my phone. And so the phone, things don't always cooperate. So just be patient with me. We're going to try to take a brief commercial. And it might take me a little while, but we're going to take that commercial. And then when I get back, I'm kind of going to get into bake and bloom cake decorating from scratch to showcase. All right. All right. Just be patient. Let's see if I can do this real quick. Maybe, maybe not.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
All right, we are back, and I am Anna. I am the host of Sweet Blessings, at the Anna L. Brothers Show and Podcast. And today we're talking about bake and bloom, starting from scratch and coming up with a beautiful cake. Now, before when I kind of started my business, COVID hit and my business kind of fizzled. It didn't really go, I didn't really go out of business, but people were leery of buying things and doing and things like that because of COVID. So this time I'm still got my business, but I'm going a different route. I'm going to be teaching classes. So what I'm doing in this it's going to be a 6-week series, maybe more. I don't know. It looks like it might be more by this, where I am going to give you little snippets of the classes that I'm going to be offering. Right now, I am demonstrating the basic decorating, which I consider course 1. There will be 3 courses that I'll be offering and also some specialty courses. I won't be offering them at the same time. It just all depends on the need for them. But I want to say again, welcome to Bake and Bloom, Cake Decorating from Scratch to Showcase. I'm so excited you're here for this journey. Whether you're a home baker, wanting to wow your family, or an aspiring entrepreneur ready to build your skills and confidence. Now, speaking on that note, y'all, I started out just as a baker. I'm going to be just give you a little bit of my story. That is how I started cooking, and I started baking. I'm going to tell you around the age of 7 and 8. And my mother, I wanted to bake, and my mother bought me a cookbook, and it was a picture cookbook. And I'm going to tell you right now, I still have that cookbook to that day. It was a treasure, and I treasure it. But that was my first beginning of decorating cake. Didn't have any desire to be an entrepreneur, and that was 7 years old. I just wanted to bake. I love to bake. I love when people ate my, things. Even at that age, I loved when people ate and that was good. They might have just been saying that because I was baking it. You know what I'm saying? But it is. Didn't get into the entrepreneur's state of it until really and truly, I'm going to say, after I retired. That's when I started looking into it as maybe a business. And that's when I came up with Sweet Listine's Desserts for All Occasions. And was doing quite well. Was featured in several magazines and things like that. But, like I said, COVID came along. So in the first episode, we're going to be laying the foundation, the essential ingredients, tools, and simple techniques that will set you up for baking success. You'll learn how to mix and bake a cake that's not only delicious, but sturdy enough for you to decorate. So, what I want you to do is to I'm going to say grab your aprons, but after the show is over, I want you to grab your apron. I got a little assignment for you. And then I also want you to grab your favorite mixing bowl. And I gave this in my Wednesday presentation, but you all were not able to see it. It was only oral, or it was a verbal thing. I don't know what happened with the camera, and I'm hoping and praying that the camera is on today. So, and we're going to start on this cake adventure. And I'm just hoping, and Let's go to commercial, and then when I come back, I'm gonna start with a prayer. Okay. I have to find it, y'all. Help me. Help me out. Help me. Help me. I think this might be it. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Here's why you need to tune in right now. With CTR Media Network, you can transform your knowledge into a fully produced TV show. Imagine your content streaming on platforms like Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV, reaching over 350 million households in 140 countries. We take care of everything, from managing your ready-to-go content to global distribution. And it's not just any content, it's edutainment, a perfect blend of education and entertainment that keeps viewers coming back for more. You'll join a vibrant community of thought leaders, podcasters, and educators, all sharing a passion for impactful content and global reach. Plus, with our app available on Google Play and the App Store, your show will be accessible to millions more, ready to shine on the global stage. Let's get you started. Schedule a 15-minute call with us today and turn your idea into a TV sensation. Reply to this video by saying, "I want to learn more." Don't wait, your audience is out there waiting.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. I guess I'm doing all right. I don't know. I'm not checking, and no one has told me that I'm doing anything different. Last time they waited to the last minute. So I just want to say welcome to Bake and Bloom, cake decorating from scratch to showcase, where sweet creations come to life. Skills grow with every swerve, and confidence rises higher than our buttercream. Just want to let you know. I'm glad you're here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn simple ingredients into edible art, one lesson at a time. And if any of you all know me, you know that I do go live, and I will post all. I'm afraid to try to do it now, but I will post my social media links at the end so that everyone can see. I just don't. I'm afraid because I had such a problem before. But most of all my social media platforms, when I come on, I do a prayer. And so this evening, I want to do a prayer before I start telling you how to bake this cake. And so, Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of creativity and the joy of sharing it with others. Bless our hands as we learn and create. Guide our hearts to patience and excellence. And let this time together be filled with laughter, learning, and sweet creations. Amen. All right, so we're ready to get started. So we're going to start with this how to bake a great cake. Okay, that's where I want to start. Because most people don't realize that in order for you to bake a great cake, you got to choose the right pan. Now, we all know that there are lots and lots and lots of pans out there. Now, I do want to let you know before I get started that I do have an Amazon store. And I will also put that up here in case you want to purchase some of these things. I do want to let you know that they are for for purchases, but they are there, and if you want, you can buy them anywhere. But I do want to let you know that they are for a campaign. It's an ad. It's an ad. I'm doing the ad, and I'm doing the ad for my store. So in case you want to do this, especially these are some of the ingredients you all that you will use if you take my class. So trying to offset, because when you first start out, I just want to be honest with you, there is some expense. It's not an inexpensive thing to be a cake decorator. So once you get all of your supplies, and you're going to always be adding supplies, like when I said how to bake a great cake, you start with the pan because you're going to be buying, if you're serious about it and you want to move forward as a business person, you're going to have to buy these pans. However, if you're a home baker, some of them you're going to buy and some you're not going to buy. You understand what? So we always want to start, and I got a few pans here to show you, with some pans. Now, what I did was I started with the most traditional pan. I'm going to take this off real quick. And that's this pan. I know you can see it. It's an aluminum pan. Okay. Now, I know you all are not going to believe this, but this pan is old. It's over 20 years old, y'all. So I taught over 20 years at the stores that I was at. I still use those same pans. I love these pans because, the old pans that we used to have, they would rust. You remember the ones that you had to go around and it would lift up? I love these. These are aluminum. And this is another thing. Once you decide your pan, you must decide the size. Now, the pans come in all sizes. This just so happens to be a circular one. But there are squares, there's hearts, there are even character ones of the pans. But you want to start with a good pan, okay? The pan with a light finish will bake cakes with a lighter color crust. Now this, I'm going to tell you, this is a Wilton pan, okay? Because that's who I work for. So I'm going to tell you who I use and what I use, but there are others out there, okay? It just so happens that I have a lot of this because this is the company that I work for. I was contracted to my stores through this company. And so and you'll notice that I have a lot of these, but I do want you to know that you can purchase these things on Amazon if you're interested. Now, this is an 8-inch. This is the most traditional one. This is the 8-inch pan here. But this also, I want to show you the variation. This is a 6-inch pan as well. So, sometimes when you see the wedding cakes, you see the different layers. And so this is a 4-inch one. It's round. So you might see something very similar to this. Okay. So I want you to know, and most all of your cake pans come in variation. So if it's a heart, there's a large heart, a medium heart, and so forth. So that's the first thing, is that you want to start with a reliable pan. Then the next thing, after you get your pan, because I got all my little stuff here. I'm ready today, y'all. I'm so happy. I'm hoping this is working for us. Okay. Oh, Lord have mercy. But the next thing, you see, I'm excited. It's what you put in your pan. So I'm going to use this little bitty one as a demonstration. There are 2 ingredients that I use. I'm going to show them to you. The first one is this one. It is called Cake Release. Okay. The other one that I use is called Bake Easy. So I use 2. These are and I'm going to tell you how I use it and why. Now, this one here, the first one that I showed you, has like a squirt. So you're going to squirt a little in here. And basically what this is, it's like you put a little oil in your pan and then you put the flour in and then you go all the way. But this takes that. So you don't have to be doing all that. So you just squirt, because this is a mixture of flour and oil. And you just squeeze it in there. And then what you want to do, showing you all the tools, is you want to take a pastry brush. And that's what this is, a pastry brush. And you want to go around and you want to get in all of those little crevices. That's it. That's it for this. Your pan is ready. Okay. That's the cake release. Now, it's just about the same thing with the other. This one here is a spray. This is like Pam or something, but this one also has, I think they used to call it Joy, where you go to the store and it was a spray can and you sprayed it in there. Well, that's what this is. Now, like I said, you can get all of these at Amazon. Okay. And I will post that link in a few. I'm scared to post it right now, but I will post that on my store so that you can get it if you're interested in this. And this one is a spray. So you're going to spray in here, all in here, and then you're going to take like that pastry brush that you had before, and then you're just going to go in there and go all the way around and get it all there and everything. And guess what? Your pan is ready. You don't have to deal with that flour. You ain't got to deal with any of those things like that. So let me tell you, after I used those, now that was 3 tools. After I used those 3 tools, so let me ask you all this. I know this happens because it happens to everybody. When you bake a cake, sometimes you get this, what you call a dome. A dome. It's like a hill in the middle of it. Okay. So what happens is, let me tell you have this pan here, and the outside of the pan is baking faster than the inside. So it causes it to do that dome. So 2 things I want to make a suggestion. You need an oven thermometer. They're inexpensive. It's well worth it to use the oven thermometer, because when you use the oven thermometer, you'll know whether or not your oven is on regular temperature or whether or not it's off, because most people don't realize that your oven temperature can be off. Seriously. So from time to time, you need to check it. And basically the best way to check it is to have an oven thermometer. Okay, so that you can it just fits in there, and you can open it up and look and see what the temperature is of your oven. Now that is one thing. So to kind of release that or get rid of that, they came up with what is called bake even strips, and that's what this is. These are old. I've been using these forever because they are mine, and you can see that I have connected them with pins and all kinds of things, because that's how you saturate this with water. Just put water all in it, and then you kind of get rid of some of the excess water on it. And then what you're going to do, this one, like I said, I've been using this one for a long time, but it's great for me to demonstrate. But they've come up with a newer version, so that's what this one is. This got a little color and a little thing to it or whatever. But it also has a little tag, so you don't have to pin it. But I pin mine as well. I use my quilter pin. I use quilter pins for a lot of things. But anyway, this fits on here after you get it saturated with water. Then you're going to fit this on here like so. And what this does is it keeps it even so that your cake bakes evenly. It's going to bake evenly, because now it's not going to bake as fast around here. Okay. So they're just little tools that will help you. Now, sometimes, this is why I said you need the thermometer. Sometimes you get a valley. I just told you about the hill, but sometimes you get a valley. And then in that valley, your cake is mushy. or it's doughy. It hasn't cooked. And so that's another sign that your oven is off. Your oven is off. So it's a great investment to invest in a thermometer. So basically, that's how we bake a great cake. We bake a great cake by looking at our pans and using some of those tools as we go along. So how do we prepare our pan? I just told you. You're either going to use the Bake Easy. I'm looking at my notes because sometimes I get ahead of my notes. You're either going to use the Bake Easy or the Bake Release or the Bake Easy. Okay. Now, as you can hear, this can is almost empty, so you can see why I use this. I'll tell you why I use this one, because this one here has 0 calories. This one, the Bake Easy, has 0 calories, whereas the Cake Release has calories. It's 120 calories. And so when I feel like it doesn't matter and I want to be rich and stuff, and I want my dessert to be rich, I use this one. I use both of them, but I really will tell you I use this one the most. Okay, but I'm not gonna lie to you. So what I do is, the first thing that I do is I prepare my cake pans. Okay, remember I told you that, so I prepare them. I basically do what I do. I spray in here. I spray this. Then I take my pastry brush and go all around. Now, other people can do that. You people do things differently. I'm not saying that this is the way, because, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to do things. And these are just things that I have learned over the years, because I have did that and took a paper towel and going around. So don't think, but this is, a pastry brush. And I use my pastry brush. This one here, maybe I have lots of these. So sometimes I will tell you I do use my things like basting my meat. I use my pastry brush a different way, okay? But I don't take the cake one and use it over here to brush the meat. I have separate. That's why I have separate ones. And this one has a yellow handle, so I know it's for my cakes. But I do have one that has a white handle. It's all white, And then I have another one that's got a little brown handle. I have quite a few of the basting things that I cook with. So once we do all that, and then I will put on my bake, even strips, saturate them with water, and then put on my bake even strips. Now, once I have done that, then I am ready to begin to mix my batter. Now, I have I'm not going to, I have 3 mixers. Yeah, I did have 4. I gave one of them away. Oh, I sold one. But I have 2 mixers, and you'll be able to see. My mixers are all KitchenAid. I have 2 big countertop mixers, and they're KitchenAids. But I also have a handheld KitchenAid. But you do need a mixer, and you need a good mixer. Now, KitchenAid is not the only mixer out there, but it is a good mixer. These are the mixer, my big mixer, and my handheld I have been using for over 20 years, you all, and they are still working. So at first, when I first started teaching my classes at the stores that I was teaching at, I would take my big mixer, because I didn't have a hand mixer. I'm telling you, I would carry, and that KitchenAid is heavy. I would put it in the box, and I would take it, because I made icing in my classroom. And so I'm going to make icing for you, but it'll be next week. That is one of our tasks that we're going to do Wednesday. Okay. So you're going to need a mixer. So this is my mixer. It's a KitchenAid. It comes with all of this. But you can look and, like I said, you can look on Amazon or wherever. So, because you're going to need a mixer if you're going to do some things. And you want a mixer that's going to kind of last. And I do everything, because when we do next week, when we get into making the icing, you'll see that you need a sturdy mixer, because icing comes in different levels. Okay. So you want to preheat your oven. After we do our pans, we want to preheat our oven before you start mixing your batter. Now, for class purposes, I'm going to tell you what I use is this. And I suggest everyone start with box cake. It's already ready for you. So you want to have some success, because you don't want to forget to put ingredients, because you're going to have to measure these out as well. It's no different. But I will start out simple and then venture out to elaborate, where you're making it all the way from scratch, where you measure using cake flour, because I use cake flour. I do make my cakes, most of my cakes from scratch. But for class purposes, I use this. And the flour, there's two types of, I mostly use swan down cake flour when I'm making my cake from scratch. That I use a cake flour. But for class purposes, because this is easy and it gives you the effect and stability of doing it. So you just basically want to follow the directions on the back. And I'm going to tell you, when I tell you to measure your liquid ingredients and everything, you want to measure at eye level, but you want to have them out. Okay? Because, and I'm speaking from experience, you get distracted. The phone rings, you go, and then you come back and say, oh my God, did I put that in there? But if you got it laid out, if it's empty, you put it in it. So this is a habit that you want to get into, is putting lay all of your ingredients out. Okay. Now, there are some things that I do to this, but I'm not going to tell you that yet, to make it so it's like good, like a homemade cake. But right now, I just want you to, next week, you're going to bake a cake. I don't want you to ice it. I just want you to bake a cake. So when you do this, an 8-inch cake is going to make 2 of these. Okay. It's going to make 2. So I'm telling you what you're going to do after you tell you how to make it. Then you're going to take it out. Okay. So we're going to mix this batter. We're going to lever it out. We're going to have all of our stuff in there. Make sure that you scrape your bowl, y'all, all the way, so you get all your ingredients in there. And then you're going to fill this pan 2/3 of the way up. Right here. Maybe 2/3. Can you see that? Maybe right there. 2/3, not all the way, but 2/3 of the way. Or, half full, a little over half. Okay. And then you want to bake it, and you bake it whatever it says on the package. Because see, I'm making it easy. We're making it easier for you. So it says 2 8-inch is 24 to 28 minutes. Don't open the oven, y'all. Don't open the oven. Let it stay in there at least 20 minutes. Okay. Because see, when you open the oven, it changes the temperature. So just at least leave it in there for 20 minutes. So you're going to follow the directions on here. Okay. And you're going to bake 2. One of them I'm going to let me go ahead on. Let me finish, and then I'm going to tell you what you're going to do with them. All right. You're going to put them in the oven, because remember we preheated the oven. But you want to make sure that they're about 1 inch apart. You don't want them right up close to each other, so you want them like 1 inch apart. And then The cake is done when you insert a toothpick in it or a knife. Sometimes some people use knives, uh, let's see, this is a toothpick. So you can either insert a toothpick into the cake, and if the toothpick comes out clean, you know that the cake is done. So some people use a toothpick, some people use a knife, and some people use this. Now I use this. This is a little apparatus, and I don't even know if they sell this, but I love this. But it's like a little ice pick. And so I just stick it down into the cake and it comes out. If it comes out real nice and smooth like it was down in there, I know my cake is ready. Another sign, which, this is my own little thing. If you're using good pans, that cake is going to separate around the edges just a little bit around there. Okay. Just wanted to all right. So we prepared our cake pan. We mixed the batter. We filled the cake pans. We preheated our oven. We tested for doneness. Now it's time for us to remove our cake from out of the oven. And so we're going to take it out of the oven. And guess what? We're going to let that cake sit for 10 minutes. No more. Just 10 minutes, y'all. Not less. No more. Time it. Put your timer on it. If it goes over, your cake is going to stick in the pan. It's not all going to come out. Okay? And the best way, I'm going to tell you the best way, what I do is I put a little piece of parchment paper. This is parchment. This is a large size. It comes in all things. And you can get this at the grocery store as well, but you can also get it on Amazon. It comes like this. I cook with parchment paper. Like if I'm roasting or something, I put this in my pan and put the vegetables on there. But you can put this parchment paper on top of your cake, and then you take a rack and just put it over and just turn it over. It should just pop right out. Now, the racks, like I say, you can get it at Amazon. I like this rack because it has these, and I'll show them to you, these here. So I can lay these down like so, or I can lay it and it will sit up like a table. And it's variations. I have more than one. So they sit on top. They sit on top of each other. Okay. So if I wanted to, I could have another one on top of here and have another cake sitting on top of that. So I want you to see that it can be expensive, but like I said, I did not get all of these things all at once. Some of them were gifted to me because I was an instructor. But I've learned that over the course of me teaching that they have really, really helped and enhanced uh, my baking skills. So we're going to take another commercial. And then I'm going to come back and I'm just going to briefly talk about the icing. And because that is what we're going to do. I'm going to make icing on Wednesday. And we're going to, that cake that I just told you I wanted you to make, you're going to make 2 of those. One of them you are going to put, after it cools, wrap it up in aluminum foil and saran wrap and put it in the refrigerator because we will use it again, the other cake. And then we're just going to use one of those layers of cake, but I'm going to show you how to do that next week. That's why these are only like 30 minutes. But I do want you to realize that my classes will be 2 hours long and they will be for 1 month, 4 weeks. So each class, course 1 will be 4 weeks and each class will be 2 hours long. Right now they're only virtual, but they will be virtual and in person. Now, the in-person classes will work a little different. And if you're interested in in-person classes, you will have to personal message me. There's several ways that we can do that. But we're going to take another commercial. I'm going to try very hard, y'all. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to tell you what you will need for the next lesson. Okay, I am back. I am back. And so we're gonna make icing next week. Trying to get it so I can set up. I've done this before. But this is what you're gonna need. Just like I used that Duncan Hines cake mix, I also use some other ingredients that normally I don't use in my icings. But for classroom purposes, just so that you can get the feel of the icing. It is going to be a little messy, a little greasy, but just so that you can get the feel of the icing and the different consistencies of the icing, you will need these ingredients, okay? So we start off with white vegetable short, okay? And there's lots of it out there. I use Crisco. Now, this comes in butter. We don't want butter. Butter messes up your icing. What you want is just the clear white, vegetable short. Now, the recipe that I use calls for 1 cup. And I use it because, you all don't know me, but I like easy. I like things that are easy for me. And this comes in already in a cup. Okay, it's 3 of these in here. You can see I've already used 1, but there's 3. And all I have to do is I'm going to use the white vegetable short. Now, what this does is, I'll tell you next week what it does. Okay, but you'll need that. You're also going to need some flavors. And so what I did, I don't care. I'm going to tell you, I use clear flavors. Sometimes I use color flavors, but when you use the colored flavors, and I mean when it's brown or green, whatever color, it takes on, your cake will take on that color. So this is a butter flavor here, and it's clear. I also have a almond. This one here is almond, and it's clear. I also have a lemon one that is clear, but I use these because it will not turn your icing a color like a lot of them do. So you might not think it matters, but it really does. Then milk or water. Now this is the vanilla, and this is another thing, but this is clear. This is a clear vanilla. I just want to make sure I showed you all of those. And so you'll need at least 1 of those for it to make your icing. Now, as far as milk or water, I use water. And I'll tell you why. Because for the classroom purposes, this icing is excellent because you can use it over and over and over again. It lasts for at least a month or more. But if you use milk, which is a dairy product, you're going to have to refrigerate it and it's not going to last long. So we want to get the most out of our icing because we're learning. We're learning now. So we want to make sure that we get the most out of our icing. So I make mine with water and that way I can just leave it out. I can put it in a little container and I can leave it out. When it comes time for me to use it, all I got to do is just stir it a little bit and keep on going. Then I have what is called meringue powder. And this is used to stabilize the buttercream icing. It is also used for those people who are allergic to eggs. This is an egg substitute, okay? Because you're going to find during the course of your baking that you're going to find people who are allergic. So this is great as an egg. This is an egg substitute, but it's a great stabilizer. So you don't have to use, the eggs in your icing. And then remember, last week I told you I always use pure cane sugar. I think G&H has a pure cane sugar, but I'm kind of partial to this one. And it will say on there, it will say premium cane powdered sugar. It's going to say on there if it does not say it on the packaging, cane powdered sugar, your icing is not going to be right. It's just something about the others. And during the course of my teaching, where they have gone to the store and just got it, the ones that said powder sugar, it's just something that is missing in that. So you want to get pure cane sugar. Now, you also are going to use coloring. Now, Wilton has a liquid color and a paste or gel-like color. I use both. The reason, let me tell you why. The liquid one, I can just know what I'm doing. I can drop 4 little drops in there if I need it. The gel, however, let me open it up because I want you to see. It's actually a gel. And so you basically put a toothpick in there. So if I'm baking something and I run out of the icing with the red color, I can't get that exact color with that. But with this one, with the drips, I can because I know how many drips or that I dropped in there. But like I said, I do use both of these, the gel ones as well as the liquid. So next week we're going to make icing and we're going to color that icing. I'm going to show you how to color it. So if you're interested in practicing with me, because even with cake decorating, it is always practice. Practice makes perfect, okay? And so sometimes we add a little salt in there to take out. Now, you all, this is not icing color. I want to point this out because some people, this is food coloring. Food color. You use this to color food like eggs and stuff like that. It is not for baking. I just want to throw that out there to you because some people sometimes they want to use this for baking. So we're going to take one last brief commercial and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to wrap this up for you. Let me see if I can get to the commercials, y'all. It's been a task. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we are back. We are back. And I just wanted to let you know that if you wanted to contact me, I do have a website. My website is, well, if you want to contact me, you can contact me at info at uh, Anna's Lifestyles, LLC.com. That is my email, and you can, if you have questions or anything like that. Also, hold on. I do go live on Facebook with my jewelry. So you have that there. I'm doing all this now because I need to do it now. I was afraid to do it before. Hold on. Because I wanted to make sure I had my store on here, and I remember putting it on here. So that you could. Okay, this is my Instagram because I do go live on Instagram. So this is uh my Instagram where you can also with my jewelry. If you're interested in the soul lady wigs, that is there. Also, I'm always looking for people who want to advertise or sponsor or do commercials or guest spots on my program. So you can also contact me at info uh, at endlesslifestylellc.com as well with that as well. So let's see. What else do I have here? I don't see my Amazon. Okay, here, this is for those of you who are interested in purchasing the products that I showed you this evening. That is my Amazon store. And I do want to let you know that it is for commercial use as well. Okay. So I think that is it. I do want to remind you all to please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I can find it. I don't know. But it is youtube.com. That backwards A at Anna L. Brother Show and Podcast. SWE. It's on here. I'm having issues with this. I have issues with the thing. But anyway, I just want to thank you all and thank you for being patient with me as I venture on this and tackle these social media platforms and troubleshooting. So thank you so much for joining me today for episode 1. Next time, we'll take your cakes to the next level by learning how to level, tort, and stack like a pro. So every slice is picture perfect and ready to impress. So I have a call to action for you. What I did was I formed a group called Bloom and Bake. It is, I guess, in replacement because I did have a group called Sweetless Scenes, and my Facebook account was hacked, and so I'm starting all over. So I'm asking you to take a snapshot or a photo of the cake that you made this week, whether it's still in the pan, cooling on the rack, whether you frosted it and it's fabulous. I want you to take a picture and post that picture in the Bake and Bloom VIP group. Okay? Share it to the group with the hashtag Bake and Bloom. So go to the group, Bake. You're going to join the group, Bake and Bloom. Right now it's public. Eventually it will be private. So it's a good thing to get into it now. So you're going to post your cake and you're going to do hashtag Bake and Bloom so we all can cheer you on. Now, I do want to say this to you. I want you to remember that this is a safe place to learn and grow. Every cake is progress, and we're all here to support each other. And I just can't wait to see your sweet creations. I hope that you enjoyed this evening, and I hope that some kind of way I have inspired you. I hope that I have encouraged you, and by all means, I hope that I have empowered you to live a fulfilling and blessed lifestyle. My homework for you tonight is for Wednesday, because we're going to do the icing, and we're going to bake the cake. One other thing that you might need if you want to fill your cake, it's not necessary that you fill it, but I always tell people to bring a little jar of jelly. You know, it can be jelly that you're using in the house. And I'm going to show you basically how to fill your cake or attempt to fill your cake. All right. So you got your homework. You're going to bake a cake. We're going to make icing next week. And I'm looking forward to seeing you. Make sure you post your cakes in the Bake and Bloom page. And don't forget the hashtag Bake and Bloom. And remember, this is a safe haven. So I'm going to leave you with my 3 L's, and that is to live your life to the fullest. Make sure you find somewhere in your life to laugh. And most of all, love yourself. Have a great evening. And I hope that this was successful for you.